Hey, YouTube, welcome to Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. I'm your host, Metal Madness Jeff. Today, man, I'm super stoked to be joined by an old friend from almost 35 years in the past when we sat in study hall together at Hempfield High School in Landisville, PA. The funny thing is, when I approached him on Instagram and recounted our long ago history, Johnny, that's his name, and I'll say his last name in a second here. Johnny recalled all the people and places I referenced, but he couldn't place me. Which, seeing as how that the last time I saw him was 1992, actually wasn't much of a surprise. But this gentleman is the co-founder, lead singer, songwriter of the melodic hard rock band Hardline, who once boasted 3/4 of Bad English and Journey in the lineup. He's also the lead vocalist for German axe slinger Axel Rudi Pell, going all the way back to 1998. And he's also the voice behind the gaming series Sonic the Hedgehog with his Crush40 project. He put out his first solo album, One Voice, in 2018, and as if that isn't enough, he put out a decidedly more metal album in 2022 with his new band, Enemy Eyes, History's Hand, which came out on Frontiers on 11/18/22. And here he is, everybody, Johnny Gioeli.
Right there, baby, right
What's
there.
Up, brother? What's up?
So you made me feel so badly, bro, because so it's been
Wasn't intentional.
Okay, so it's been that many years, and I've probably come across millions of people.
Yeah, I know.
So I just feel terrible.
But I didn't try.
Didn't have the hair.
I did not have the hair, and the other thing too was I didn't try. And we've both got mileage. You look great for 55. I got some issues though. Which
you look great, man.
So, but I got some health stuff going on, which kind of has really made me age the last 2-3 years. But
it's all good. You look good, man. Don't worry.
But yeah, man. So the last time I actually saw you, though, was when you guys opened for Mr. Big at the Lidditz. They say the rec center on FM. I don't think that's right. It was a gymnasium for the Warwick High School. It was a gymnasium, bro. Steel trap right here, man. I'm telling you.
Okay, brother.
And
could be. That was a long, 30-something years ago. Right?
92. July 92. And the thing, I remember.
Was the album out yet? Was the album?
Well, when did it come out? July. This was July of 92.
Oh, yeah, it did, because it came out in April.
I think it came out in April. Yeah, it was just out. But you'd done a couple of dates on the West Coast before this, and then you got that opening slot with Mr. Big.
Yeah.
And the middle band was a band called Beggars and Thieves. Do you remember that band?
I don't.
No, it was like a hair glam sort of band.
Shit, no, shoot. Sorry. Yeah, so the first gigs we had were with Van Halen.
Out west.
Yeah. Detroit started
that's right. There was Detroit and Chicago,
Dallas, Auburn. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Shit like that. And then we latched onto the Mr. Big tour. And so Lidditz was the reason we always start in Lidditz is why?
Because you live there. Because you lived over in Hempfield, right?
Number two.
And hold on,
Claire Brothers.
The Claire Brothers and Tate Towers and Claire Brothers. Yeah,
exactly. So,
have you been there lately? Have you been there?
No, so I heard, because obviously I'm friends with all the Journey guys, right?
Dude, it's fucking insane. It's like a city now, man.
Yeah, it's insanity.
You know who Bob Bradshaw is? Bob Bradshaw. He builds the rigs. He's working up there in Lidditz, dude.
He's what?
He's working in Lidditz.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He's here now.
Yeah, of course. We've bought more Bradshaw rigs than I've had.
I'm sure.
Coffees.
Well, listen. Here's what I wanted to say real quick, and then we'll get into the actual interview.
Yeah,
so, I have a very unique perspective as a Johnny Gioeli fan because I got to see you a few times in your infancy. Not infancy, but
almost infancy, bro. I was young.
As a young performer, man, and musician back in the early 80s, when you were the drummer, co-lead singer with your high school band Phase with a Z, not an S, with a Z.
Gotta start
man. And then I got to see you. I just recounted how I got to see you open for Mr. Big with the original lineup at the Warwick High School.
Yeah.
And frankly, back then, dude, you were fucking driven, man. You were driven, honestly, with the conversations we would have in study hall were, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to be a rock star. And I knew it because not only were you a kick-ass drummer at 9th grade, which is what, 14, 15.
Mhm.
But you were a fucking monster singer. Like
Thank
when
you,
you
bro.
transitioned over, which we'll talk to, when you transitioned to singer, by the way, not
Yeah.
transitioned over, but when you transitioned to being the lead man, I was like, yeah, well, that was always the way it was supposed to be. So tell me, catch me up on
Oh,
the
man.
history of heading out to LA, which I thought was 85, but it might have been a little later than that, right? Was it 87?
It was more 87, 87, 88, because our first stop was hanging out with the Poison guys because they were Pennsylvania guys,
Pennsylvania dudes,
and
Harrisburg. Yep.
we knew Brett Michaels well.
Right.
He was just coming off a tour, so I'm thinking it was 87, 88, something like that, because Talk Dirty to Me and all that crap for sorry, not crap, Brett. I love your stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But
Ooh.
anyway, that came out, and we wanted to get our feet entrenched in California, where we're to start, you know? So,
Right.
okay, so I'll take you there. All right, dude, I've got stories. So first of all, high school. Let me just give you a little background on the listener's background. I was in high school, but I wasn't mentally in high school. When my friends were playing with Tonka toys in their backyard, I was in my basement, as you know,
Mhm.
because you were there,
I was there.
working on music,
Saw it. Yep.
working on music, music. And I did start playing and writing guitar at 8 years old, and then drumming at 11. And I just, and it was all all given thanks to my brother, because a lot of us, a younger
Sure.
brother wants to do what his older brother's doing.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
my brother saw Kiss play, and who would ever know that I'd become friends with those guys and be playing
That's
with
nuts,
Kiss
dude.
shows? It's just so weird how everything happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was laser focused on music. That's all I thought about. It's all I wanted to do from literally 8 years old, when I was playing Stairway to Heaven on my acoustic and singing. I don't know, maybe it was just, the big man saying, "Hey, this is your gift, do it." But I wanted to. No one forced me, no one pushed me. I was also into, you mentioned before we got online, you mentioned some of the record stores and the music shops in downtown Lancaster, and
Mhm.
you mentioned the Fulton Opera House. That's where I actually started. I did a lot of shows, theater. I did off Broadway. I did stuff like that. And then there came a point where my parents said, "Hey, listen, it's either acting or music." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
music. I love
Yeah.
music. Oh, music. So high school was tough for me, bro, because I was there, but not mentally. And here's a great high school story, and then I'll move on to our move to California. So here I am, a struggling artist, and starving artist, which I actually have a company now called Starving Artist, where I help artists recover royalties. That's another thing.
Oh,
But
cool.
anyway, and I was not in school a lot, bro, as you remember, Fridays, Mondays, because I was playing up and down the East
Yeah,
Coast.
yeah, you were. That's right.
So my mom, God love her, very Orthodox Italian Catholic, would say, "What do I put on your excuse? Sore throat, stomach? I mean, how many stomach aches can you have, right?"
Right.
So I get called. I'm not going to mention our principal's name, but I get
He's
called to
dead.
the
He's
office.
dead now. He's dead.
Is he?
Dick Harkleroad?
Yeah. Is he
Oh,
gone?
he's long gone, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
In
Sorry.
fact, he's gone, and Minnick, I think
Is he
the
gone too?
Ron, what's his name, is gone, the guy, the Franklin side,
I
and
don't remember him.
Minnick, I think, is still alive, and
Okay,
Wilderson's
good.
gone. Yeah, they're all gone, dude.
Okay, well, Harkle Rhodes, we can talk about him because he's dead.
He was a
So,
dick.
so he was tough. So anyway, let me tell you what happened there. It's a cool, kind of interesting story about how when you're driven and you're focused and you want to succeed at something, you can make it happen, and then the reward is so great. And here's why. So I get called to the office, and this principal, I don't like even using his name, says, "Hey, listen, we know you're involved in music, but just how many stomach aches can you have? Your mom keeps writing, you have a sinus infection. Maybe you should go to a doctor, whatever." Anyway, and I said, "Sir, look, I play a lot, and I'm a performer, and I'm going to make that my career, and this and that and the other." So he says, "Okay, well, listen, don't lie to us. When you're doing something, just tell us what you're doing." I said, "Okay."
Mhm.
Bro, you ready for this?
Yeah.
The next week, Paul Stanley from Kiss calls my house. Yes. And Paul Stanley said, "Johnny, I heard some of your music, and I'd like to hear more stuff because I'm getting into producing. I don't know if you remember back in the music business where Paul was starting to produce stuff.
I just bought the first album he ever produced last weekend, New England. Do you know the band New England?
I know the band. Yes.
Don't ever wanna lose ya. Fucking killed. That was his first production job, I believe.
Okay, so I'm glad you remember that. Keep that in mind. This comes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell my mom, dad, I'm not going to school this week because I'm going in my studio. I built myself my own recording studio in the basement.
Yep, was there.
You were there. And I'm going to work on new tunes because I recorded everything, drums, guitar, sang. I wrote the songs. I would just hit the recorder and I'd go anyway, like a maniac.
Let me interrupt you 1 second.
Sure.
Were you recording that on 4-track or 8-track, or what were you doing back then? I don't remember.
8-track reel to reel. And
it was reel to reel. It wasn't DAT yet. Yeah, we didn't have DAT.
No,
yet.
we didn't have DAT yet.
Yeah,
tape,
yeah.
good old tape, and then all.
I still got my Fostex 4-track, bro, with all
Hell
my
yeah.
noodle jobs. Yeah,
I wish I had all that stuff. It was just for memorabilia. But anyway, so I spend that week working in the studio. Okay, fast forward. My mom goes, "Okay, what do you want me to write on your excuse?" And I said, "Write the truth." The principal wanted the truth. Here we are, Lancaster County, Brethren, Amish, kind of slower pace. All right. And my mom writes, "Dear Mr. Harkleroad, Paul Stanley from the rock band Kiss called the house," and she's telling him the story.
Right.
Okay. So she writes, I said, "Well, Mom, that's the truth."
I can see what's coming. I know what's coming, but go ahead.
You know what's coming. For the listeners, I'll tell you what's coming. So I hand it in. I go to my class, and all of a sudden, "Johnny Gioeli to the principal's office." I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And this guy.
Did he give you in school?
He shoved me up against the locker. If I've told my dad would have broke his freaking neck.
I got a story for you. Go ahead.
He pushed me up against the locker. I never told my parents. I should have. Always tell your parents, kids, if you listen to this, if someone does something to you that's not right, you tell your parents. I didn't.
Sure.
But what I did, so I was a smart ass. And I said, "Sir, with all due respect, I make more money in one night than you do in a month." I did.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
And I did. I was working, bro, working.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "This is a phase you're going through." No pun intended. "This is a phase you're going through. You need your education." While I agree that, look, academics are very important for some, of course.
For most people.
For most people. Yep. I get that. It wasn't for me at that moment, right? And he goes, "You need your education." But he ripped me like he was like my daddy, right? Okay, now I'm going to circle back. 1987, 88, 89, somewhere in there, we go to California. I kissed my parents. I said, I was 18, so we could probably do the math. I don't want to hurt my brain. Mm-hmm. And I said, "I'll be back."
Well, I would have been 85 because you're younger than me.
So I said, "I'll be back when we have a record deal." And I kissed them. And I did just that, bro. So fast forwarding, and we could fill in the gaps. But here's where the story gets funny with the principal. So here these hometown boys, Johnny and Joey, land a $8.5 million record deal.
I remember this because it had something to do with the film too, with Penelope Spheris, right? Or was that something different?
Something different.
Okay.
Something different, but that was another time. Yeah, it was a movie that we did. I'll talk to you about that. But we land this $8.5 million record deal. Now, okay, Johnny, something here. Johnny did something, right? I go, "Do you remember the hardware store called Heckinger's?"
Yeah. Out there. It's still there. It's something else.
Is it? Okay.
It's still there. It's a lazy boy place now.
Okay, so I was visiting home, a holiday thing, and guess who I run into?
Dick Harkleroad.
Thank you very much. Thanks for filling in.
I got a Harkleroad story. Let me sneak one little Harkleroad story when you're finished with this one.
Okay, so I'm almost done. So he says to me, "Johnny, wow, I've been watching your success."
And your hair's down to like here.
Down to actually to my balls at that point.
Yeah, that crazy fucking Italian hair that stood up all toothed up everywhere.
Yeah, this wig here is kind of no, I'm just kidding. So he goes, "Here's what I'd like to do." He goes, "Did you ever get your diploma?" I said, "Actually, I got a general. I got a GED just to do it." He goes, "I would like to tear it up and replace it with a Hempfield High School diploma."
Oh, now because you got that $8.5 million deal, you made it.
And I said, "Sir, with all due respect, go fuck yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't say it like that because
I
I've
know,
always
I know,
been
I know.
respectful, but
I
I
know.
said, "Sir, thank you, but
But no thanks.
no thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day." And I walked away going,
Ha ha.
"Johnny, that is the beautiful part. It wasn't revenge. It
No,
wasn't
no, no.
anything like that. It was
Driven.
driven,
Driven. Driven.
driven.
You
Listen,
dude, I'm saying, man, you knew what you wanted
nonstop.
in ninth grade when I met you. I'm like, this dude is gonna be a fucking rock star. And the other thing about you was very interesting too back then, Johnny, was you were not a partier, dude, that I knew
No,
of anyway.
not
So
at
you
all.
weren't the guy that was going out drinking, driving, and doing stupid shit. You weren't smoking dope. You weren't
No,
that I know of, anyways.
no,
Not that,
zero.
and I
I'll
wasn't
tell you,
really either. But you were a pretty straight laced dude. You were either doing the rock thing, or you were with your girl, who you're still with,
still with
crazily.
it.
That's we'll get into that the last thing because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
blows my mind. But Harker
yeah.
Road
But
story,
I was,
1984,
I,
senior year.
yeah,
Do you remember the big phase that everybody went through in the 80s with the electronic music with the Joy Divisions and Tears for Fears, and the Japanese stuff was the rage. Everybody wore the striped kamikaze stuff and everything, right? So
yeah,
I'm walking through the
kimonos and shit. Yeah,
I didn't wear a kimono, not
I
at school.
did.
I'm at school. I'm at school. I'm walking through the halls with a not a sleeveless, but it was kind of like a quarter sleeve, right?
Uh huh.
And it's the rising sun with the writing on it. Parachute pants. Remember the parachute pants?
Of course.
Gray parachute pants and gray elf boots on. Because I wanted to be a rock star. I just never made it like you, right?
Okay.
Although I look like more of a rock star than you right now. That's
You
the
do,
case.
man. I'm retiring, bro. I'm getting close to the end.
But I'm walking by and Harker Road. I walk past him. He gives me the nod, and I'm going to the bathroom. I got a fucking pass, all pass. He says, hey, back here, young man. I walk over. I'm like, yeah, here's my pass. This is what he said to me. He said, I don't really think that's proper attire for the school. I'm like, what's improper? He goes, a lot of good men fought and died in that war. You understand that, right? I'm like, what the fuck? What? I'm like, yeah, okay. He says, I want you to go down and get your gym uniform, and I want you to put your shirt on. And I looked at him and I'm like, dude, that fucking gym uniform hasn't been washed in 6 months. Are you kidding me? Ain't no fucking way I'm putting that thing on, right? So I said, no, I'm not doing that. And I said, that thing stinks like fucking vomit, man, or whatever. He's like, look, man. He goes, that you're either going to do it or you're going to go home. I said, call my mom. He gets my mom in there. My mom is no one to fuck with. No one to fuck with. She
Ooh.
brings a shirt in. She is screaming at him in the doorway. Again, this is 1984. Things were
Yeah.
very different than they are
Yeah, you
now.
can scream at people in 84. Can't do
Very
that today.
different. But that was my Dick Harker Road experience. He made me actually change my fucking shirt because I had a rising sun on it. So I
Unbelievable.
want to say hello to a buddy here. Nick, what's up, man? My buddy Nick. He's got 13,000 subs. We'll probably he'll see this and disseminate it to his people. So okay, so tell me, you actually go out, you're doing the East Coast thing as Killer
Yeah.
Hit, because you changed your name to from Phase to Killer Hit.
Yeah.
And everybody, if anybody knows what that means, that's a euphemism for taking a good long hot toke. Okay.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
again,
which I never did.
which
Even
is
to this
funny
day,
because you
bro.
just weren't that guy. Now, was your
No.
brother? Did your brother? He didn't smoke.
He might have dabbled, but
Right.
he not into it. We were really into, like, even in the Hardline days, my brother and I ran the business of that
You guys
band.
were straight laced, man.
Yeah,
You were like
I was friends with everybody though. I was friends with,
Oh,
in
yeah.
high school, I was friends with the druggies. I was friends
Sure.
with the athletes. I was but I did what I had to do, bro. I went class to class and I went the hell home.
Right.
And that was it.
So you go,
So yeah,
you
so
do
we
the
go.
East Coast thing. You're building a rep.
Yep.
You know that LA is the place to be. This
That's
is hotbed of metal,
right.
and well, the hair metal thing, and it
Right.
was the hair metal era at that point.
Right.
The
Right.
late 80s
So
was
we knew the
sort of
industry was there. So we knew
right.
that
The industry was there. So
Yeah.
take it from there.
Yeah, so there's usually pockets of geographical areas where things pop, like Seattle for the grunge, right? Well,
Right.
at that time, it was LA strictly. Sometimes it shifts to New York, and there's a lot of great bands coming out of New York and bands getting signed. So, but we knew it was LA, and we always wanted to go to LA. The whole Sunset Strip thing, that whole thing was all appealing to a bunch of young
Sure.
guys,
Hell yeah.
18, 19 years old. Are you kidding? So yeah, we went out there with full crew, full gear, remember, we worked. So when we worked,
You
and we
guys were investing on
yeah,
new
we were
shit. Yeah,
investing.
I
We had
remember that.
lights, we had
Yep,
PA, we
I
had
remember it.
trucks, we had a bus. Now, not beautiful stuff, but
Right, right, right.
what worked, right? So we go out there, there's like 12 or 13 guys on a tour bus. We live at a campground, KOA campground. Do you know what a bathroom looks like after like 12 guys shower in it every
No,
day?
dude, I don't want to know.
So we were so poor, bro, that we would label our nectarines. Like if we had a nectarine, that's like hey man, we got fresh fruit. Don't touch my freaking nectarine. That's
Mhm.
how poor, right? But we just committed to rehearsing and writing and promoting and killing ourselves. And we did one. Okay, so I'm going to kind of fast forward. Um, we did one LA pay to play show. Back then you had
Mhm.
to pay if you wanted to play. One.
Right.
After that show, thank you God, we
You were
sold out.
headlining. You were headlining,
Headlines
right?
sold out, broke
Yeah.
records. The Doors, Van Halen broke records for attendance. We'd sell out in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark Knight from Bang Tango,
Yeah.
and they got signed in '89 to MCA
Yep.
and put out Psycho Cafe, and he remembered your name from the brunette name. He's like, yeah, I remember them. They used to drag a lot of people in, and
Yeah.
he was telling me about the whole flyer thing where you fly her up
Yeah.
and down.
Man, we worked concerts at the Forum. If Bon Jovi was playing the Forum, we tagged those cars. We worked hard. That was the
Yeah,
name of the game to build up. That was our digital social media.
sure,
Put a
sure, sure.
flyer on someone's car. So we did that for a few years. It was at that point I was still drumming. And then I was still playing drums and singing most of the lead behind the drums, which was just weird, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's
I mean,
unusual.
it's unusual. Phil Collins can pull that shit off, but with our music, it was just unusual. And then we did a show, oddly, with Poison
Okay.
and with Poison, and it was one of these big outdoor festival kind of things. And I was dying back there, man, because I wanted to be up there with the people. I wanted to be up there with the
You're a
front.
showman, dude. You're a showman.
I needed to do, and so that's when I said, "Listen, I don't want to be in jail back here. Let's get a drummer, and I want to come out front." And then so that's how that whole transition happened.
But you were
We
still
worked
with Brunette at that point, and then you pulled a
still
new
brunette,
drummer in, right?
exactly. Still brunette, and then we got a drummer, this guy Derek Thomas, who played drums, and we had the big long. Everybody had long brown hair, and we thought, well, this is perfect. We should call ourselves Brunette. We got an endorsement by Aveda, the hair products.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because we literally had 17 feet of hair
You
collectively.
guys, you guys were pretty motherfuckers back then. I'm gonna
We
just
were
say it,
some,
all right?
we were some man.
I'm confident in my sexuality and my manhood to go.
It's all
You
right,
were
bro.
some
Thank
pretty
you.
boys.
There's some pretty boys there.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
tell you, it
oh
was
yeah.
funny. It was not good, but anyway. So that band worked very hard to build a following. We never got signed. We were always very close. We were working on a deal with Capitol Records. I started writing with guys like Mark Tanner, who devastated me this last year because I lost him. He passed away, and Mark Tanner wrote a lot of the Aerosmith tunes. Mark Tanner has sold probably
Yeah, I don't know that
60.
name,
Oh
shockingly.
man, he did
Yeah,
like Nelson Twins. He wrote all that stuff with the Nelson Twins. I can't live without your love.
and there was a lot of that going on back then. You had the Bob Halligan and the
Yeah,
Michael DeBars and stuff
right,
like
right,
that.
right.
They farmed a lot of songs out to be written for bands.
Right. Well, we worked together, and so we
Mhm.
were building this deal on Capitol Records. Also, Gene Simmons came to us with an offer that we didn't take because the offer was in his favor, not ours.
Mhm.
And but it never really happened for us. And the reason was we just didn't have the right songs, bro. Music is about the songs,
Of course, of course,
songs.
of
You
course.
could draw people up and down to the cows come home, but if you don't have the right songs, it's not going to have the mass market appeal. So that band kind of crumbled apart, I think mostly out of frustration because there we could sell out in 20 minutes, but we weren't getting signed. And we're starting to get a little frustrated because we wanted to like get on with it, right?
Yeah, right.
So that kind of fizzled apart. And then my brother and I decide, let's do like a hard rock version of Nelson.
What are we talking here? Like 90, 89,
Now
90?
we're 90.
90, okay.
Yeah, now we're 90. Yeah, 90, 90 and a half. Okay. So my brother and I, so at this point, my sister is dating Neil Schon from Journey.
I know, that's so weird. I mean, I still look back at that and go, how'd that happen? You know,
Yeah, well,
she
we
went
went
with
to-
you. She went with you.
Yeah. So,
She went
yeah,
with, okay.
back up. So we're very close Italian family.
I know you
My
are.
brother and I went out, and then my girlfriend at the time, Linny, came out because we didn't want to be apart. Then my sister came, and then my parents came.
Oh, your parents came too.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
that I didn't
sold
know.
everything in Pennsylvania, and like
Okay.
I'm moving, want to be with my family.
Because your old man owned the metallurgy place, right?
Yes, he owned C. Schultz Metallurgy in
That's right,
Manheim
right.
Pike. Exactly right. And then we sold that, and then they toured with us. They did
Oh,
the
shit.
UK. My parents been on Wembley stages with us, and it was been amazing, bro.
Wow.
What an amazing. We've played and they got to witness every arena in the world. I mean, just incredible.
Charmed life, man.
Yeah, they'd hang with Brian May, and it just incredible, bro.
Insane.
So it was really thrilling for them.
But Dina's dating Neil at this
Dina's
point,
dating Neil,
and something starts to happen.
Well, not really. We knew, of course, who Neil was in Journey, but we never asked anything of Neil for any help. We just weren't like that, Joey and I. And she was with him for like 8 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They have kids too, right?
One holiday, we were back in Lancaster. We'd always go, Neil too. And we'd hang out at that club in downtown,
Chameleon?
the Colony Inn or some shit. I don't remember.
Old Colony?
Old Colony. And so, yeah, we would hang out and do shit like that. But so Joey and I were working on this hard rock Nelson project. And I start playing a song on the guitar that I wrote called Face the Night. And Neil comes running his ass into our kitchen. He was like, what is that? I said, I wrote this called Face the Night. He goes, give me the guitar, give me the guitar. And he starts, try this, try that, to try to condense this story. I go, Neil, that's freaking awesome. I said, do you want to produce this record for us? Joey and I are going to make a record. We're going to prepare it, and then we're going to shop it. So he goes, all right, listen, I'm working on Bad English.
I was going to say, because Journey was on a hiatus at this point when Perry left.
Yeah, right. So he was in Bad English. He had that #1 that was written by Diane Warren. You know, when I see you smile, that's freaky. I can face the day. Whoa. Yeah.
Right. So, not my thing.
Not his either.
I want to hear fucking Neil John yes.
Well, that's what he wanted to do too. So that's how this comes full circle. So we get back to LA, and he goes, Johnny, I'm going to work on a second Bad English record. You stay at my house during the day and write all day. Just write. Because we made a setup together. And when I come home, and Neil's a worker, man. Sometimes he'd come home 10 p.m. from the studio, gone all day working. And then we would review. And I'd say, okay, Neil, I wrote this called Change Your Heart. A lot of the Double Eclipse stuff, Can't Find My Way, all that stuff. He goes, Johnny, that's great. And then we would refine it and work. And then I'd go home, I'd sleep, I'd hit the gym in the morning, I'd go back to his house, I work all day. We did this whole thing. And what happened was Neil just completely fell in love, not only with my sister, but with the music and what we were building.
Right.
Because he wanted to prove that he could really rock, because everyone saw him as a pop kind of guitar player. So Neil asks if we could form a band, and I said no. I said, no, not interested, bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, no shit. And like, no, bro, we had this long hair thing. We just had this thing. So he went to my sister's. I can't. He goes, I'm Neil Schon from Journey.
Talk to him. Talk to your brother.
Yeah, talk to you. I want to be in this band. Literally.
Yeah.
So we thought about it. I said to my brother, I said, listen, he really took these songs to a different level. And what can it really hurt? Look what we've done to these songs. So I said, and listen to his playing. He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
That album is, man, except for HSAS, where he fucking smokes too.
Right.
He smokes on this Hardline album. That's not to say he doesn't on a lot of Journey stuff, the early Perry albums, but man, he just fucking rips on this album.
Yeah, smoke. And that was his intent.
Yep.
And all that stuff, I got to tell you, we played that live at A&M. those recordings of Double Eclipse, for your listeners, especially your young ones, you got to go back to 1992 Double Eclipse. That was the first album.
Yep. I don't have it with me. I didn't pull my CDs. I'm sorry, man.
This one.
You have one laying around? There it is. There it is.
I don't know why I do, maybe, but there it is. And,
well, you love yourself. You know it. You do.
No. I think I was using it as an example for something.
I'm busting your balls, man.
I know. So, shit, where the hell was it? So, yeah, Neil was a first take guy. His solos on that album, all first take. That's it, done.
Right. Yeah.
So we recorded that album basically live. Anyway, and then Neil says, "Hey, listen, I want to get Herbie Herbert involved, who's no longer with us."
The manager.
And then it just grew from there.
And then he pulled Dean and
Dean.
And
he goes, Dean's with me. And then we auditioned every major star bass player under the sun. You can't name one that didn't audition for Hardline because they wanted to be in it. But it had to be a cultural thing for us. We had to be bros. You know, you're together on a tour bus, bro. You wake up. Yeah, you're having breakfast together, you're having lunch, you're having dinner, you're doing a show, you're sleeping, you're farting on the tour bus together.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Okay? It's more than just like a business. It's a brotherhood. So, anyway, Dean said, "Look, I know this guy Todd Jensen, but he's out on tour with David Lee Roth, and when he's off tour, I think he's interested in this." And we all got together, we jammed, we said, "Oh, that's the guy." So oddly, Todd is in Journey, Dean's in Journey, Neil's in Journey.
Now they all are there. Yeah.
So I call them Journey Line.
So
it's Journey Line.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, and it was just so great because I was at a Journey show. I flew down to Tampa, and I'm texting Dean because I'm like, "This is weird, dude. I'm in the audience. This is freaking weird."
I'm not even going to ask about what's going on now. We've had some private conversations, so weird stuff happening there, though. We'll stop there, right?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So, so anyway, that was the evolution of Hardline, and Hardline we sold a lot of records. We toured all around the world. We did very, very well, and that put my brother and I at a much, obviously, and honestly, a much different level. And
in
that
the industry,
that was too. The start of my career, and since then, since that album, I have recorded. That was album 1, and I've recorded 100 more. I just finished 101.
Dude, I don't even
albums, multi-platinum, millions of albums sold. And
stupid.
It's crazy.
It's stupid. Like,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, okay. So you get through that big album, but it sells a lot, but it doesn't sell because did the label drop you, or what happened there? Because Neil ends up going back to Journey because Steve Perry comes back, I believe, right?
Well, I put them back together. So here's what happened. So grunge music comes in. Pearl Jam, I'm gonna be the concrete, or whatever that was going on there. And it was John Kolodner. I don't know if you know this name.
Yep, I know him. Yep.
A big industry guy who told me MTV's going away. They're not going to play videos anymore. They're not going to play videos anymore. Record stores are going away. No one's going to listen to your kind of music anymore. It's over. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? He was right. So the music changed. The market changed. Selling records changed. Everything changed. And the record company wanted us to kind of conform to it. Because I think we were talented enough where we could have a little bit of a weird kind of alternative edge to us, but it wasn't true to us, right? It really wasn't. So it caused some problems internally with the record company, and the record company, they didn't drop us. They just didn't exercise the third option, but they had to pay us out on the second option. Anyway, it's a hard thing to explain.
What's that mean, though? That means
that we were contracted for 6 albums, so they had to pay us for 2, not including our live album and stuff like that. So even though we didn't make a real second album, even though we had a live album, they had to pay us out for it.
Okay, gotcha.
Which I think at that point I didn't give a shit about money, man. I was making great. It wasn't about the money.
Yeah, you were sitting pretty good at that point, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to perform, man. I wanted to be known. I wanted my work to be heard. I wanted to affect people, make people happy, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that kind of, and then life goes on. I mean, Neil had Ferrari payments and shit we had to earn, right?
Right.
So that kind of we never really like broke up. Never like, this is over. It's
Right.
just kind of like, okay, man,
Drifted apart, like it's not gonna
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, Neil's like, "Fuck, man, I gotta go I'm gonna do some stuff with Paul Rogers, and my brother and I, okay, well, we're gonna work on a record for that's kind of what happened with Hardline. Then, whew, God, giving you the life story, bro.
So there was a chunk of time there though where you didn't record because the next
Yeah,
Hardline album doesn't come until 10 years later in 2002. And then before that, though, you end up doing the ARP thing in 98. You get that call.
yes.
Let's give us a quick synopsis of what happened during that period of time that
Okay.
you're not doing any that you're not
So
putting any music out, I guess.
so not doing any performance, what happened there was, when you have a $8.5 million record deal one day and then you don't another day,
Yeah.
let me tell you something, man. You need a little break. You need a little therapy time.
Yeah.
Not real therapy, but you need a little break from it.
Yeah.
And Joey and I needed to regroup and figure out what we wanted to do next and blah, blah, blah. And we actually got started a business because when we were on the tour buses, talk about the party thing, I was reading collegiate nursing books because I was really into medicine. And I still am. If I could have been a doctor, I would have loved, not that I had the brain capacity for it, but I would have loved to do something in medicine. And my brother has a very engineering mind and always loved science and shit like that. So we kind of combined efforts and discovered this thing called the information superhighway, which is
That's right around the time that the internet's popping up.
exactly. So long story short, we developed and invented the internet gateway exchange. So like when you use your credit card online, that transaction that happens between your credit card, the issuing bank, and the website, we invented that connection.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. Sounds glorious. And then from there, but we didn't really, we're still rock and roll guys, and we should have protected that a little bit better, but that's okay. Long story, a little bit shorter. We started in this little 8x8 office and we grew a business to 1 million square feet and 300 employees. And we were fully engaged in business at that point. We were the Amazon.
All e-business. E-business?
Yeah. All e-business. We were Amazon. We were an end-to-end transaction, but we didn't really know we were an Amazon. We just had a great business and stuff. So that time period that I was missing in action, I was MIA, was running that company and, building some wealth for my family. And and then it was, I get an email from Axel Rudi Pell. I spoke to him via email for 1 year. I didn't even know what his voice sounded like. And he said, I'm a huge Hardline fan. And at the same time, got a call from June Sonoy through Doug Aldridge, who was Whitesnake guitar player, that there's this Japanese guy that wants you to sing on some games. And I'm like, games? What? You mean like Pong and Frogger? What games? And he goes, I think something like that, the Sega company. Okay, so both these opportunities come to me at the same time, and I agreed to work with Axel because it was like, to me, I was telling my now wife, of course, like, oh my God, this is like old school metal, like Dio shit. I can sing this in my sleep.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I took it on. I flew to Germany. I've never been to Germany. I'm like, we met at the train station. We went right into the studio and recorded Oceans of Time. It was literally like that.
Did he get in touch with you because of Jeff Scott Soto, or how do you know, or did he get the record company, or how'd that?
No, he was a Hardline fan. He always
figured out how to get
just like, if ever something happened to Jeff Scott Soto, I'd get Johnny.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And I didn't know who the hell he was. I was like, send me some music, man. I don't know who the hell you are.
Right.
And then I listened to it. I went, well, this is kind of interesting.
Rainbowish, kind of rainbow.
Yeah, kind of sloppy-ish version of, Richie Blackmore kind of thing.
Very Blackmore, yeah.
Yeah. But what I loved about it was the fact that he had this underground built-in audience. And bro, we practically don't do a show that's not completely sold out. I mean,
he's huge over there, no doubt.
Massive. Right. So that became a brotherhood. Here we are, 25 years. This year's 25 freaking years.
And I have, just so you know, dude, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you at all. I do not own all of Johnny Gioeli's records. There's no way.
I'm hanging up.
I'd have to build, I'd have to build an annex onto my apartment. Dude, but I have the first, I think I have the first three. I have Masquerade Ball, which is probably my favorite.
That's a good one.
Oceans of Time, and then the
That's a
one.
good one.
What was the one after Masquerade's Ball? I can't remember now.
Dude, are you kidding me? Did you seriously ask me that question?
What's the one after Masquerade's Ball?
101 albums. I don't even know what the freaking album number 86 is.
But then I have a comp with two, like a greatest hits, like an earlier one. But you've got 28 albums with him, I think.
Yeah,
with
at least. At least, yeah.
Okay, so you've been
platinum, gold, everything, the whole deal.
So that kind of came that and the Crush40 thing kind of came up almost simultaneously, right?
It did, yeah. And then at the same time, I get this call from this gentleman named Jun Sonoe, who's very, very famous producer of gaming music for Sega, works for Sega Corporation Japan. Said he also a huge Hardline fan. Said, "Would you sing on a game, an arcade game, like the NASCAR physical game that you go to the arcade and play?" I said, "Well, that sounds freaking cool. Let's meet in LA." And so he flew Japan to LA, and we went, and I recorded a whole bunch of songs. And next he says, "Hey, Sega wants to know, will you please write a song for us for this game called Adventure?" And then the next one, Adventure 2, and then Sonic Heroes, and on.
Yeah.
Little did I know, bro, because I didn't know that industry. I just was given storyboards, and I would give them to my kids and say, "Read this. Tell me what this is all about." And they say, "Okay, well, Evil Eggman does this, that, and the other." Little did I know that I wrote some of the biggest hits
gaming songs
ever.
Yeah.
In gaming history. We're talking $1 billion in revenue. And I'm like,
so your contract is probably sick with Sega Genesis. I don't want to know how many zeros are on the end of your fucking contract, man.
So I'm not all about the money. I promise you, I'm not all about the money. But I didn't realize how big those songs were and how big that industry was.
Huge.
And how important it was to my life, because these fans and these kids and these adults truly love this gaming experience. It's a thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a franchise. It's a thing. And
massive.
I have like Johnny Gioeli, Crush40 Discords where I go on and I talk to the kids. I do all of that stuff. I love these fans.
That's so cool.
I love these fans.
Yeah, I've seen online on YouTube. I've seen some of the events you do with what's his name, Jun
Sonoe.
He writes most of the music then, or you do
he writes the music,
melodies and the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, and I do all melodies and lyrics. We work together for 25 years, and you can't go to a country like if I talk to someone in Sri Lanka and say, "Hey, have you ever heard of Crush40? I love Crush40. Learn." They start singing.
Yeah.
And bro, it wasn't until I was doing an event and I got picked up at the airport by the event van, right? And there was some other artists in the van. I just being respectful, I got in and I said, "Hi everybody, I'm Johnny. I'm the lead singer and songwriter for a band called Crush40." And they start laughing their asses off. And I'm like, "What?" And they said, "Dude, we know who you are.
We all know who you are." Yeah, right.
You were our childhood." I said, "Well, that makes me old as shit. But you were our childhood. We can't believe we're in a van with you." I'm like, "Wait, what? What's going on here?"
Mind blowing to you, right?
Mind blowing. So I got to my hotel and I literally called my wife and I said, "I missed the boat on all this. I missed the boat. I didn't realize how important this music was to people." And so it was at that point where I really started getting engaged with the fans, because some of our gaming fans are a little bit on the autistic spectrum because they feel safe within the games.
Sure. My kid's like that. My oldest kid is super gamer. Dude, I never even heard of Crush40. I'm listening to fucking Autopsy and Catatonia and Opeth and shit. Like I'm a metal dude.
I got you.
I love the melodic metal and shit, and we'll talk about that because your new album is killer.
Thank you, brother.
I'm the Crush40 stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a little ambivalent. No offense.
It is what it is. It was built. It's like writing songs for a movie. It's specific to those games, and that's what it is.
Yep.
But I never realized how huge it was. And anyway, I love these kids, and
that's awesome.
I've watched these fans grow up to be doctors and lawyers. It's
Yeah,
mind blowing to me, man.
crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
So what's your brother doing these days? He's out of the business, right? He got out of music or what?
Yeah, so
You
he
guys
got
ever jam?
no.
No,
It was 2002 was really the last thing we did together
he
at
was
the
on
God
H2,
Festival.
right? He was on H2,
Yes,
Hardline 2. Yeah.
exactly. And so that was it. Yeah, I sold my portion of the business and he continued to run
Oh,
the business. He's in business. He's a real IT
okay, gotcha,
engineering mind,
gotcha.
and that was better suited for his life. And I went on. So it was Serafino Perugino, God, sound like an Italian dish,
Uh-huh.
from Frontiers Records, who contacted me and said, "You need to do another Hardline record." And I said, "No." And he goes, another email, "You need to do another Hardline record. I'll give you X amount of money." I said, "It's not about the money. I don't want to do another Hardline record." He goes, "You need to do another Hardline record and you offer more money." I go, "It's not about the fucking money. Stop with the money. It's not, I don't care about, I don't want to do another Hardline record." And then he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, not an Italian offer.
Okay, right.
But it wasn't that. It was the fact that he was so passionate. He goes, "People need to hear your voice, bro."
Yeah. Mhm.
And so I talked to my wife. I try to do as much as I can because she's extremely bright. And I said, "What do you think?" She goes, "I think he's got a point. I don't think you should waste a gift. You should do another Hardline record." Here we are, 2023. I'm just getting ready to go into production for another Hardline
Yeah,
record.
so you do H2, your brother does he
Yeah,
contributes on that, but with what? Guitar and some co-writes and stuff, or what
yeah,
did
it's
he
just
do on that?
a little bit of everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
but it really so then you take over the Hardline name, and I
yeah,
assume that you took over the Hardline name after Neil and everybody dispersed. They didn't want to. They signed off and said, "Yeah, it's yours and your brothers," or how'd that
yeah,
go?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
basically the
Okay.
way it went. Yes, yeah.
Um. So because I'm watching the time and we're at 46.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm good.
We're good for a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
because I
good.
got
Don't
some
worry.
good shit for you.
Okay.
So we do. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, there was allegedly a
Uh-oh.
Hardline 2 album that you recorded that you aborted. You didn't. That's somewhere out in the ether that it's not like what that came out. Is that true or false?
So prior to the label not exercising the option, Neil and I were writing every day. And yeah, we have a bunch of material that we were working on that we just never released.
Okay, just
One of the
demos,
songs,
mostly demos.
yeah, mostly demos and stuff. Some of which appeared on Journey albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that I worked on with Neil, and some entered Hardline 2 album,
Okay,
and some are just still sitting on tapes.
tapes.
Tapes,
Yeah,
you know what a
tapes, not
tape
hard
is?
drives.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. So that's what that's all about.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Going back to
Yep,
ARP real quick.
yep.
Did you have to audition or he just said you're the
No,
guy? You're
that's
the
it.
guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't know.
Um,
Sorry, bro.
so
I
let
don't
me
mean
ask
that in an egotistical way, but I don't
no, no,
know.
I got it. No, I got
I
it,
mean,
dude.
my
It fits.
audition tapes are platinum records. Go listen to those, right?
But it fits. I mean, you fit that
It did.
like a
It did.
glove. It's
It did.
anybody that I talk to that's like, well, what's he sound like? There's a dude. I want to recognize a couple dudes here real quick. Paul,
Sure.
my total bro, Rick, the Dreadful Minutes. This guy hooks me up. He does all my artwork. He's just the best.
Right on, dude.
He's a big Hardline fan too. And
Thank you,
Phil
brother.
has never heard you before. And then he got sort of stoked about this interview and he's like, dude, this guy can fucking sing. I'm like, yeah, he can sing. He
Oh,
can sing a
thank
little
you.
bit.
Thank you, bro.
He's like, well, what's he sound like? I'm like, he sounds like Dio, man. And you do sound like Dio, but you have your own
Oh,
thing though. It's
I hear Dio, I hear Bon Jovi. I don't get that one.
I
I
hear a
hear
little bit of Bon Jovi on your
really?
solo album. A
What
little
the
bit on your
hell?
solo album. Your solo album.
Maybe okay, maybe a little bit.
It,
I
it,
hear Klaus Meiner, I hear Little Scorpions, which I end up doing a ton of shows with those
I could
guys. And,
hear you doing Klaus if you put a little bit more of the
oh,
German. You put the
the German.
German in there. You could probably do it. Yeah.
Quick sidebar. So I know all the Scorpions guys, right?
Great music.
And Herman Rarebell, drummer,
Mhm.
comes out to an Axel Rudi Pell show. And I don't like to eat before the show. I'll have a little bit of protein, because it's a 2-hour show, man. I'm like, "Ah!" And I don't want anything. I don't want to put
Yeah.
anything on the audience's head, right? So I have this meal all prepared. It's all labeled and the whole thing. And I'm done. We do our show. I shower. I get ready. And We usually do maybe some meet and greet or some press. And I go, man, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat. And I'm looking, there's Herman Rarebell, drummer of Scorpions, and he's eating. He's like, this is
Showing
good.
your fucking dinner.
Eating my fucking dinner. I go, Herman, where did you get that? He goes, it's what's rice over here. I go, you owe me dinner, man. That's my fucking dinner. We left. So to this day, Herman's the German. I still write him and say, Herman, you owe me freaking dinner.
And he still hasn't paid up yet, apparently.
Well, no, I did a Scorpion song with him. We had some fun. But no, it was all in good joking. But he ate my damn dinner. It's just funny because you're like, fucking drummer Scorpion's eating my damn dinner.
So the question I had about ARP though is that let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
They're not ARP's not very big over here.
No one knows.
He's got a presence and people know about him, but if you came to tour over here, you'd be playing clubs to a couple hundred people tops.
Yeah, we'd be lucky to put 10 people in Starbucks.
Man, I don't think that bad. I think you'd have more than that.
I don't know, man. It's a different thing.
But it's a totally different thing because you look at where you're doing out there. You're doing festivals. You're doing in front of thousands.
So we play.
Is that frustrating for him and you or no?
No, hell no, bro.
Okay.
That's the life, brother. Because when I come home, so I'll play anywhere from 2,000 to 120,000 seats. Okay.
Hellfest and
you name it. And big headlining, everything, right? And then when I come home, my wife says, take the trash out. And I go, look, I got people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
She said, take the fucking trash out. So I can come home and be me. And then I can go to Europe and play rock star and have fun and make people happy. It's the balance that I need. When you're 55 years old, I want to go to dinner, man. You're back in the early 90s. I couldn't go to dinner without someone breaking my balls. And
like
look,
out in LA,
out
in LA or something. Even around here, you'd be pretty well,
I love it. It's part of it, and the artists are like, oh, I don't like when hey man, you signed up for that shit. You got to take care of the people. It's not that. It's just that my age now and 101 records, I'm on the back end of my career, and I don't want to, I want to have my family safe because there's a lot of crazy ass people.
Yeah.
I just want to keep that balance.
But not only that, Johnny, like anybody in their life, if you're sitting at dinner, man, and somebody like I was at Meriwether Post about 15 years ago, 17 years ago. James LaBrie and Jordan Rudess are eating in a Panera. And I know Jordan, and I've met Mike many times. And like I don't know them because I'm not that crazy fan, but I know them, right? And I walked in and I'm like, nah, they're eating, man. I'm not fucking with that, Some dude walks up and bugs James. He's like, guys, I'm eating. If you want, wait out there and I'll come and sign anything you want, but I'm trying to eat, and I got it. I'm like, that's just common sense. Don't be a dick, don't be this.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard because fans look at like this may be my only opportunity. But here's what's funny, bro. So when I'm home, I'm Johnny. Are you okay? Water? You good?
No,
so I'm Johnny, right? When I'm home. I mean, I'm Johnny when I'm there too, but I forget that it's a little different. When I went last tour, I flew in, we're getting ready to do rehearsals, and I'm in an athlete, like an athletic store looking at jogging pants and shit. And these people are staring at me, and you feel it. And they're staring at me. Now, it's been a while since I was on tour, and you feel this and you feel this. And I'm like, after a while, I'm like, excuse me, can I help you? And they're like, Johnny, we're big fans. I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I forget. You forget who the hell. I'm like, what are you staring at?
What are you staring at? Yeah.
So bad. I felt so freaking bad.
Yeah, and you were always, even in high school, you were always a nice guy. You were the nice guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you, bro. I mean, look.
You're kind of a dick right now, but you're usually nice now. You know what I mean?
I gotta be, man. No,
well, listen. I want to move along because I want to keep you.
I'm ready, bro. Don't worry.
That 30-minute range here.
Good, man.
ARP, what's coming up? You're working on an album, you said.
We just finished a new ballads album. I think this is ballads 5 or 6. Don't quote me. Some really cool remakes too. Dust in the Wind, Diamonds and Rust.
Ooh.
Some really going back to
that. I can hear you fucking smoking on, right?
Dude, I love it. The people are gonna go nuts. It's kind of like us doing the remake of Hallelujah, which has 15, 16, 17 million listens. And when we start singing Hallelujah, when I start doing that, we just do a piano voice. That whole audience just freaking erupts.
I tell
So
you, man,
it's gonna be an album like that.
obviously that was a Cohen song originally, but
Yeah.
what Buckley did to it was astronomical. I mean, I'm sure I don't even have to ask what you think of Buckley. I'm sure I know what you think of Buckley. Just
Yeah.
unreal. Dude
Unreal.
was
Yep.
unreal. But I
Yep.
tell you, man, your version it's pretty fucking good, man.
Thank you,
It's
bro. I didn't even know the song. My kids are
yeah,
like, "Dad, that's the song in Shrek." I'm like,
Shrek.
"Okay."
Yeah, yeah. How old are your kids, by the way? How many kids you have?
I have 17 children from 4 different wives. No, I'm kidding.
I
I'm
know
kidding.
that's not true because I know you're with
That's
Lenny.
That's right. I'm with Lenny.
Uh-huh.
I'm with my Lenny since high school. Since she's a freshman, we're together this May 40 years.
That's dude, to be a rock guy and to
I
be
don't know
with
how she survived this shit.
I don't know how she did
I don't
either.
know
I
how
wouldn't.
she's a strong woman.
Yeah,
That's a lot of bullshit to go through. Okay.
that is. She
So
was
what was the
cool though. I
question?
remember her being really cool back
Oh,
then.
totally. Still today. She's my best buddy. What was the question though, bro?
How
Shit.
many kids?
Oh, kids. Yeah, so I have 2 children. I have a daughter, 26, and my son soon to be next month 19. 19 and 26.
Okay, wow, man. So I got 27 and
Okay.
25.
27, 25. Yeah.
And
We lost twins in the middle. That's why we have a
oh,
gap. During
dude.
pregnancy, one of those
Mm.
deals.
You gotta give me a way to get in touch with you, man, because you gotta hear my daughter, dude.
I
You
want to hear her
got
sing.
to
All right.
hear my daughter, okay? I'm
We'll
not
sign her
looking
up,
for
man.
anything. I just want you to hear. That's
We'll
all.
sign her up. We'll sign her up, man. We'll get her
But
going.
okay, so
That's
with ARP,
ARP.
you're
New
doing
ballad
an
album.
album. You did
Yeah.
the ballads album. Is there going to be another studio album soon, or is that just whenever?
I God,
Hard to say.
don't quote me on this. Is there going to be another studio album? The answer is yes. When? I don't know.
Okay.
I think this is slated for 24. And you know what's
Yep.
crazy, man? Musician's life. Do you realize that I live my life by a 5-year calendar?
Oh
I
yeah,
can
you got to
tell
be
you where.
projecting way out,
Yeah,
right?
I'm booked out. I'm booked out, bro.
Are you doing? I heard somewhere. I think it might have been. I didn't do a lot of prep on this with watching other people's stuff because I didn't. I felt I had really good stuff, being that I knew you, even though you don't know me. I knew you, but anyway, yeah, I'm never gonna let you live it down. You know that.
The connection, it will connect, bro.
I'll
And it's
get you a picture somewhere along
okay,
the line.
yeah,
I'll get you a
yeah,
picture
yeah.
soon. But you get me your number. Well, I gave you my number. If you want to text me and block
I
whatever,
got
you
you.
can do that. But
Yeah,
I'm not that guy. Trust me.
I know.
Um,
You're not gonna
but
get much for it, bro.
what's that?
You're not gonna get much from my number on eBay. Don't worry.
No, no.
I'm just
No, I
kidding.
meant in terms of texting back and
No,
forth.
I know.
I'm
It's
not
all
going to be
good.
that
It's all
guy.
good.
But
All good.
but so is there going to be any touring this year for you, or is that held off till 24? Or what do you think?
Hell no, brother.
Okay, you got
Well,
a
I
lot
have
of
on
touring
the
because I
road.
thought I saw
So I
Brazil
know.
is coming up for
Yeah.
C40, right?
So yeah, and that was just a test. So what happened was I'm doing an event called the AEX show in Chile. And then all of a sudden, every promoter in South America came out of the woods. And I said, you know what? I'll do a few shows. So I'm doing a couple shows in Brazil. And then, I am going to take a little bit of a break. And then in the springtime, I'm everywhere again. I've got an Axel Rudi Pell tour for a
That's what I
month.
was going to ask. Okay.
I have so many solo shows and duet shows and hardline shows. I am solid to the end of the year.
But
Solid.
it's all overseas, right?
It's all overseas. No, nothing in the US, man. Nothing in the US.
Dude, I'll play guitar.
All right. You got an ovation there.
I got no
Novation.
That's an 89 balladeer there, man.
Oh, yeah, right on.
I'm pretty good. I don't know if I'm as good as you, but I'm pretty good.
All right.
And I'm definitely not as good as fucking Neil, but I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I can play some of the. In fact, Hot Cherie, I got it. I can go play it right now.
We're gonna do some Hot Cherie acoustic version.
We'll just do acoustic shit around Lancaster County, man. We'll be millionaires by
Back
then.
to Lancaster we go. I thought I left Lancaster. No, I love Lancaster.
Okay, so C40, you got that going on. Let's see. I'm
Events,
gonna ask this. You
kinds
won't
of
have
shit
to
going
answer
on.
it. What's up?
I said, yeah, I've got all kinds of shows, solo shows, Crush shows, Hardline shows, Axel shows, and then Enemy Eyes is. I know we're going to get into that.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah, I want to get to that. That's coming after your solo album. We'll get to Enemy, and then I'll get you out of here.
Okay.
So how many C40 shows you got this year? I mean, is it a bunch or just a handful or what?
So for this year, just a handful. But for 2024, the Crush40 is looking like we're taking a whole symphony on
wow.
a worldwide tour where we'll do like a major theater tour, and all orchestrated, and
Wow.
with all the animation and stuff like what we did for
So
the
major
30th
production on that.
yeah, major,
Yeah.
major production thing.
How you said that you're working on pre-pro for new Hardline, or you are actually
Yes,
have it? Okay.
we're pre-pro as we speak. Right here.
Okay.
There it
And
is.
then that's you're gonna tour over the summer off that, or when's that album coming out? Do you know?
So we're still trying to play catch up on shows because of COVID from Heart, Mind, and Soul, the
Mm,
last album, Heart, Mind, and Soul. So we still have some makeup shows to do there. And then the new Hardline album with the title Unknown, which I might call it Title Unknown, is slated for, Jesus Lord, let me just think. I think it's Q1 2024.
now, are you doing when you do a recording for that?
Yeah.
Are you doing most of that Pro Tools and Dropbox, or are you doing it in a studio, or how's that work these days?
So we do old school studio for music, and vocals all recorded in my studio.
And that's 2-inch tape, or are we doing Pro Tools?
No, that's all Pro Tools
That's all Pro
digital.
Tools. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. We'll use tape once in a while for certain things, but
It's
less
kind of
and
dying. Yeah, it's a dying thing.
less and less, less
Yeah,
and
yeah.
less.
Can I ask? You don't have to say anything, but what's been your most lucrative venture as far as all your things? I'm assuming it's Crush40.
So Crush40 probably just hits the top of the lucrative scale, but everything man, listen, you can't talk about a more blessed and grateful guy than me, because I really haven't had a project that's been like, oh, that didn't work, bummer. Everything has cross-pollinated, like
Mhm,
Crush40 fans became Hardline fans,
mhm.
became Axel fans, became Enemy Eyes fans,
Everything kind of pushes everything and
and it
pushes it
all
up. Yeah.
is pretty level in terms of success. But again, my motivation is not and has never been money. When Hardline kind of dispersed, the first thing I said to my Linny was, "Oh my God, what if no one knows me anymore? I'm not going to be in a magazine anymore." Because I really enjoyed being out there
The
and being
celebrity.
with the people. I
Yeah.
loved the celebrity part only because, not, hey, look at me.
Yeah, not the heady part, but the
No,
coolness
but
of
the
connecting.
part, yeah, the connecting
Yeah.
and affecting
You
people,
always
man.
like that, dude.
When you can affect people with music, or change a situation, a song can make you feel a certain way. That's the gift. That's the
For
reward, not
sure.
the royalty payment.
For
Yeah, we
sure.
need to live, we need to eat,
Sure.
but that was never my motivation. I have my first check framed. My first check from Hardline was a royalty check. We're going back, yeah, we're going back 30 plus, and so I think that check was like $38,000, and I'm like, that was my
That's a
first royalty check.
In 1992, that's like
It's
a
a lot of
year's
money,
income for
and
most
and I
people. Yeah.
framed that, and I remember, again, being so poor, I remember listening to the bank automation would say, "Your balance is," and
Yeah.
Lindy and I would play it over and over just to listen to, like, "Wow, really? Play that again, hit 2, hit 2, hit 2." So,
That's
but
fucking
it's
hilarious.
really, that was just because we've been broke so long, being really starving artists. Believe a lot of that shit, man. It's not easy. It's
Oh,
not
yeah, I'm
easy.
sure that the lean years out on the LA
Oh,
Strip where,
come on, man.
where the
I didn't have
club's making most of the money and you're getting a guarantee or whatever it was in
Did
those
you
days
did you have
after.
a car, Jeff? Did you have a car when you were 16, even like a beater or anything?
I did. I had an orange VW, dude. You drove in it with me. God damn it.
So I
I'm
didn't have
gonna
a
make
car. God, you're killing me. I didn't
I
have a
don't
car,
remember. Yeah,
bro.
I don't remember you having cars back
I
then.
didn't
You're
have
right.
a car till I was 21 years old.
Well, you had your brothers though, right? Or didn't you
I
drive that?
borrowed
Yeah.
because I didn't wanna have the expense. My brother said, "Listen, if you get a car, you gotta pay for gas and this and that and the other." I'm like, "Hell no, I
Mhm.
wanna write songs. I don't wanna have to work at fucking McDonald's or wherever to pay for I wanna work."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool thing. Sidebar story. My brother, God bless him, when he worked all those jobs, would come home and he'd give me half of his pay because he goes, Johnny, I don't want you to ever work. Stay in that studio. You have a
Wow.
gift. Stay and work. So when we had the Hardline deal, I gave him half. I think he did better than I did, but because I got McDonald's money, he got Hardline money. So I gave him by default half of everything that I did. It was just kind of a cool brother thing. You know what I mean?
That's cool. You guys are that close. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
even speak. I don't even speak to my brother. That shows you how, and
Now,
he's your age. How old are you? 55?
55. Jesus, 55. I feel
He's
25.
50. He's 52. Do you remember
Okay.
Eric Fry? Do you remember the name Eric Fry?
I do remember that name.
Keyboard player for Scott Bailey's band Storm.
I
His
do remember.
brother Billy was, and my brother were. I think my brother would have been. Yeah, you wouldn't have known him. He'd have been a freshman when you were a senior, so you wouldn't have known him. But yeah, we
No.
don't even speak, man. So that's really cool. You
Oh,
guys have
no,
a
you got to speak to your brother, bro. Okay, that'll be another session.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
figure something out
Yeah,
before
figure something out.
whatever happens with me. Okay, so we're gonna hit your solo album real quick, which I gave a listen to, and it's good, man. I like it.
Which One Voice?
One Voice, yeah, it
Yeah.
came out in 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the obvious question, a little bit tongue in cheek. So I think I can do this with you.
Yeah.
There isn't enough Johnny G out there with over 100 albums out there. Why a solo album? Like, no, what was the motivation or target audience? Because it is
Simple.
it's
Simple
a little bit
answer.
more of a singer-songwriter album. It's not
Totally.
singer-songwriter, but it's more. I don't want to use the word pop because it's not really pop, but it's not heavy.
Right. So simple answer, bro. And great question. Great question. Simple answer. As you know, I have one solo album because I'm just not
Right, one, yeah.
into doing something. Look at me,
Right.
solo. That was a charity album. There was a young kid in my hometown here in Connecticut that was tragically paralyzed in a
Okay.
diving accident. And I needed to do something, and everybody was cutting checks. And yeah, of course, we'd help financially because it's very costly for a paraplegic.
Right, sure.
But I wanted to do something more. So
Wow.
I developed that record and involved fans, and I literally raised money selling every bit of memorabilia, original, when I wrote lyrics, signed lyrics,
Okay.
pictures, tickets, and to raise money to give to that family.
I hate to say I
So
did not know that, and I missed that in the
it's okay.
research I did. But that's
Don't worry.
I mean, that very
what I
much
do.
sounds like the guy I knew back then. Because
Oh, thank you, bro.
you
That
were always,
was what
you
that
know,
was for.
you were always super cool with everybody. You never were like
Oh, thanks,
that
man.
guy that was like kind of a dick in high school. You were always just kind of cool to everybody, and that's
Thanks, bro.
that's amazing, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's what that album was about. Yeah, it is kind of singer-songwriter-ish. You're right.
It's
It's not
kind of
heavy, it's not pop, but it's in between. It's kind of cool.
I'd say it's kind of anthemic radio rock, and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
that's not meant as a
No.
it's
That's
just
fair.
kind of what I hear. It's got, and
Oh,
that is the album. You do have a little bit of a Bon Jovi,
yeah.
just
I
a
can do
tiny
that.
little bit, tiny little.
Okay. Yeah, One Voice. It's a good album though, man. I like it. I enjoy listening to it myself.
Okay, so we get to, there's a lot in there, as Johnny has said, guys that are joining us tonight. And we've had as many as 12 people on tonight, which is cool.
Oh,
Which
that's
at
cool.
this time of the day is tough to get a lot of people
Yeah,
out.
totally, man.
But yeah, where was I going with that? Man,
I don't
now
know.
you know you're old when you start to say something. Then
Bro, I'm right there with you. I don't know what
here
I
we
had
go.
for breakfast.
Here we go. 101 albums you've got
Yeah.
out, man. There's a lot to choose from with this guy. And I would honestly say, though, I might start with the two albums I would probably start with you at recommending to people if they were like, hey, where do I start with Johnny Gioeli? I'd be like, well, you got to start with the original Hardline album, because that album is just such an amazing album of songs. It's got your vocals on some of those songs are absolutely fucking just unreal.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
For example, The Hands of Time.
Yeah.
I mean, that song is just, dude, it's
Thank
like
you, brother.
it's like a fucking epic, man. And then,
Thank you, bro.
Change of Heart. It's such a
Thank you.
beautiful song. And you got You got the ass kicking shit of Dr. Love. You
Yep.
got the
Thank you. Yep. Rhythm from a
Rhythm of
Red
a Red
Car.
Car, which smokes like a bitch. Life's a Bitch is
Life's a Bitch. Taking Me Down. Hot Cherie.
taking me down, and then the Hot Cherie. Tell me
Crazy.
real quick about Hot Cherie. What made you do a cover on there? What was the deal? Did the record company want you
Crazy.
to do it? Or?
No. So we started doing that song way back in Brunette when Dana Strum from Slaughter.
Yeah.
He recommended. He goes, "Hey, man, this is a song. It was a big smash hit, but I think you guys could do a redo on this thing, and it'll be a hit all over again." We're like, "Let's listen to it." Like, shit, I know what to do with this, and we started doing it, and it became like the big song for Brunette. Then we were going through songs with Neil Sean, and Neil didn't know that was an old Danny Spano song, and he heard. He goes, "Fuck, did you guys write that? Man, that song is awesome." We said, "No, we didn't write it. We covered." He goes, "We got to put that on the album." He loved it. So we're like, "Okay, let's put it on the album."
And that guitar, that's the solos on that song by Neil. And I mean, Neil is, in my opinion, and as a guitar player, I hear things a little differently than non-guitar players. I think you know what I'm talking about. And to me, he's probably the greatest melodic soloist on the planet.
And probably one of the most underrated guitar players out there.
You think? I mean, everybody pretty much knows Neil. I mean,
you think? Well, maybe now, yeah.
I do. In the guitar circles, he's widely. And I mean, people don't even realize though that his first 3 albums were like fucking jazz fusion, man, where he's with Greg on vocals and just amazing. And then Perry came in and changed the whole dimension. But
yeah,
exactly. But yeah, you got to hook me up with Neil. You got to hook me up.
Sure. Hang on a second. Let me
just call him right now. Yeah. Hey, this guy wants to talk to you.
They're getting ready for their Freedom Tour. I just talked to Dean. They're getting closer and closer to start the 3 months on the road.
What's going to happen there at the keyboard position? Do you know?
I can't talk about it. No, I can't really talk about that situation. I wish I could, but they'll work it out.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's
okay, so let's get to your
Enemy Eyes.
Enemy Eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I started looking into this, and I didn't know about it when it came out, because here's how do I phrase this because I don't want to
piss me off.
No, it's not going to.
No, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. I'm
not going to piss you off, but I have a criticism of Frontiers.
Okay,
and that is that here you go. Here's how I wrote it. I mean, the one criticism I have of Frontiers, and hence why I don't get too invested in a lot of their output, is they tend to put these super groups together, i.e. Sweet Lynch, Black Swan, Dirty Shirley, with Lynch and Dino, and then they never tour. And it's kind of like, I want to hear shit live, dude. I want to be able to see that band. Now, granted, I can't see you because I have to watch it on YouTube or something because I'm not flying. Sorry, dude. I don't have those $38,000 checks like you do to fly over and see you. But
okay, man, I get you.
But you know what I mean. So when I hear that there's a new Sweet Lynch or whatever, and they have done 2, I think that I'm aware of, and I'm sure Michael Sweet. I bet on it. Yeah. It just feels like, I don't know, man. Like, I just have a tough time, so I don't follow everything that Frontiers is doing, if that makes any sense to you.
No, that's fair.
So I didn't know Enemy Eyes came out, but here's the thing. When I heard it's your metal album, I'm like, I don't know, man. Johnny doing metal, my idea of metal and your idea might be a little different, but here's the thing. This is a pretty metal album.
Well, mine's more Euro metal. It's a little more melodic metal.
I would say this is very melodic, hard metal. It's kind of almost power metal and traditional metal mixed together, but it's very much a Euro vibe. But dude, there's some heavy fucking tones on here, some heavy riffs on here, and some killer singing, man. So
thank you, bro.
Again, it's very guitar and voice driven. This album's very guitar and voice driven.
Yeah.
Which it always is with you because you are the feature. Of pretty much everything you do.
Well, I'll tell you why. This came to be. So I've done everything, right? You got all these albums, and as an artist, it's just that, it's artistry. You always feel like there might be something missing, right? And the one thing I've never done is something more visual, right? In the music, it's been great albums, I hope great live performances. I always hope they are. When they're bad, I want people to tell me, and then I'm going to retire and go fishing. But I never combined a visual show remember I told you I started out in theater, right?
Right.
I've always wanted to combine that theatrical visual with music. And I think metal, something heavier, would just have much more impact visually, right? So I told the record company, they came to me with this, like, we want you to do something hard because you do all these big festivals and everything. And I said, well, I've always wanted to do something like this. Let's work on it. So Enemy Eyes was born. And was so awesome about the album, and I love it. I don't really listen to my stuff, but I've had that album in my ears as I run. I'm really into running and shit for a long time. And I would go, wow, I love this album. I just love this song.
There's some very killer melodies on this.
Killer shit here. So Jeff, here's the way that album was built, though. So music was presented to me. We kind of Alessandro, who's my producer. We
asked about him one last question. Yeah.
Yep. We kind of figured out where we wanted to be with it musically, right? And then the ideas came to me. And then, bro, I'm going to tell you, I got the papers. Fuck, I got them right here. I got the shit right here to prove it. I went from writing right to the microphone. Mm-hmm. There was no like, well, let me think about it, and I'm going to listen to that, and does that? No, it was write it, sing it. So everything you hear on that album went from paper to microphone, no changes.
Wow, dude.
Done. There was no demo. There was no this. It was here, paper, microphone, done. So the artistry was, man, it was great. So it was like what I felt and what I was writing about, the chase, or
here, I got a couple of songs for you.
Okay, so go ahead. Yeah,
Preying on Your Weakness is probably my favorite song. That beginning riff is down, and man, I mean the fucking chorus on it is a ball crusher.
We were trying to we couldn't make it work. Zach Wilde was going to do a little.
Oh, that sounds like a Zach song.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. I wanted Zach to play on this. We just couldn't make it all happen. But
History's Hand, man, really great chorus on that. Fucking. Yeah. It's the tempo on it. I don't know what it is, but it's really up tempo. Kind of reminds me a little bit weirdly of Nevermore. Do you know who Nevermore is?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, sure. Jeff Loomis.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, sure.
The Chase, really kick-ass song, but I gotta tell you, weirdly, man, I'm not really a ballad guy usually, right?
No, you're gonna say this. Go ahead.
What I believe is maybe one of the best vocals you've ever done, bro.
Hell, man. Everyone keeps bringing up that song. It's like
that chorus is
my least favorite. I wrote this song in 30 seconds.
That chorus is fucking killer, man.
Okay, so that one I did some of the vocals in Italy because I was on tour. Okay. So I finished writing it in Italy. Yes, and I did some of the vocals there, but shit, I can't believe you said that because
I can't believe I said it either because, like I said, dude, I listen to fucking Autopsy and Nevermore and fucking
right.
Like, I mean, I listen to everything. I'm a Jethro Tull guy. You know, I mean, if you can see right here, all those.
Yeah, CDs you got a few CDs. And
that's only a few. That's shit I'm reviewing for my channel, dude.
Oh my god.
There's Queen, there's Bowie there. I'm doing Bowie with the guy. I'm doing all my.
You have a Uriah Heep shirt on, brother?
I got a Uriah Heep shirt on.
Yeah, I'm doing a Uriah Heep tribute in Bulgaria this summer for what's called July morning.
Oh wow!
At 5 a.m. we do. It's a tradition thing, and I'm doing for
this album. This album's a masterpiece, man. David Byron, what a voice, man. And Rainbow Demon and fucking The Wizard and all that shit. Yeah, so I'm all over the map. Don't get me wrong, but
no, it's all good.
I'm usually not a real big ballad guy, but you do ballads, dude. You fucking crush ballads, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right. I mean, it's my least favorite on the album. I don't know why. Probably because I just didn't. I don't know. But
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you on the spot. Can you give me the vocal melody for the chorus?
What I believe, this is what I believe.
Man, listen to that shit. That's insane. All right, so here's the thing. is this going to be a going concern? Like, is it going to be a band you're going to tour in
Yes.
24? I thought,
So
or
here's what we're doing. Yeah. So this is a 2024 look because we're building now the production because, like I said, it's going to be a visual. Like if the listeners check out the YouTube video of History's Hand, you're going
yeah,
to see this little actor in there.
hmm
And
yeah, the sand thing and the right.
yeah, so this whole show, like it literally opens with preying on your weakness. And so we have characterization, people coming out and looking at the audience, and we've got a lot of visual shit going. We're building a theatrical show. So we're taking this year to build this production, and 2024 we'll hit some big stages with this
We
show.
got to get you over here with this though.
It's
This might
possible.
work over here, dude. I'm not kidding.
It's possible. The problem is, so the main problem we have,
Finances.
not necessarily, no, it's more visa. Like I would have to start acquiring visas now.
And they're expensive
They're
now.
expensive. It's not the expense as it is the possibility of them being denied.
Right. And
that's when it makes it expensive.
Then you're fucked because if you set up a tour and 2 people can't get in, you got to figure out, you got to get people in, you got to rehearse them. And I got you.
So I can't commit to promoters with the potentially, there's no guarantee that I'll get visas. Yet it's easy to sneak into this country, but it's not easy to come in.
That's a whole nother ball.
That's a whole nother story. But it's hard to do it legally and right. I'm
just telling you, this is the album and the project I think that could really pull people in. Even if it was just an opener for like a Queensryche or a Priest or something like that, where you're playing to,
they can open for
2,000 people as an opener.
I have no problem with them opening for us.
Yeah, no offense, dude, but Halford ain't opening for you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, true. Probably.
He just called me right now. He said,
really? He just said right now.
He just said, tell Johnny, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, mate.
I'm almost there, man.
You're good.
So real quick,
yeah, man.
Couple quick hitters here. Wait, hold on.
Anyone listening? Thanks for listening so damn long. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 7 or 8 people on, man. Nice. Okay, so here was what I had for you. You talk about how busy you are, but I think there's a dude that's busier out there than you are.
Could be.
And I think you know him pretty well. That's this Alessandro guy.
Oh,
I mean, this fucking dude must write 1 million albums a year or maybe a month. I don't know. He's playing on everything. He's producing everything for Frontiers.
Mixing, mastering, everything.
So he's Serafino's dude.
Yeah, he's Serafino. So he came to me by Serafino saying, hey, this guy, I think you're going to work really well. You guys are going to get along really well. And we did. Serafino was completely right. And he's been great for the label because, he loves that old school melodic stuff. We started counting his albums that he's participated on, and he's well over 300 plus.
That's fucking crazy.
So people go to me. So take my 101, right? So you can do the math times, average 11 songs. Now you can understand why I need a teleprompter. Oh, Johnny uses a teleprompter on stage. Yeah, brother.
Yeah, how could you remember all those words?
Come on now.
Especially at 55. I know it happens to me, dude.
I used to make fun of the artists like, oh, okay, why can't he remember his lyrics? Come on, man.
Hey, man, Bruce is doing it.
We're all doing it. Because back in the day, bro, back when we were in our 20s, we only had that, right? Now we have kids, their lives, spouses, family, things, houses, boats, trains, whatever the hell we got going on. We got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so the focus is a little, we need a little help.
But I'm just going to say, I wrote this down. I said, also as busy as you are, that's kind of weak sauce compared to Alessandro. I'm just saying.
It's true. No, but listen. Okay. So, and you know what? I don't want to be as busy as him anymore.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, hey, might be a cool business to be in. I'd love to watch grass grow. I'm getting a little tired, but I'm not done yet. There's a few things I got going on, bro. Like for Crush40, we've got another Sonic movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have some very big stars in it, and they're using the plot of a game that I did called Adventure 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure there's going to be some stuff going on for 24 for this movie. I've got this orchestra tour. I've got Enemy Eyes. I also own a company called Starving Artists that helps
Yeah, you
artists.
mentioned that. Yeah. Talk
Yeah,
about that
artists
real quick.
recover their royalties because this is a new world, man. It's
Yeah.
not before we used to sell an album at a record store and then we would get a royalty check from, oh, we sold this many at what's the big freaking record store that
Well,
we
there's
had?
none around anymore. I
Yeah, they're
mean,
gone. Yeah,
they're all
but
gone. The only one around here in the U.S. is not Coke. FH. It's like 3 letters.
yeah,
HYE. That's
we
it.
can't even. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, and that was
Now
it.
it's all Amazon. If you don't
Yeah,
get
so
an
like
Amazon or small distros,
yeah, so if you're an 80s guy, right? And you don't and you're being streamed on all of these DSPs, digital service providers all
you have
around the
no
world
idea
now,
you have no idea where your revenues are at.
right? So I
Yeah.
formed that company and I help a lot of old school guys, collect because they're
Yeah.
like, shit, I don't know where my money's all. And you know what? It's their money. They deserve it. It's their art. So
Well,
anyway, I got all that shit going on.
you see that right there. That is that. Well, you know what that's a sign of?
What is that right there? CDs?
Well, yeah, that's all CDs.
Okay.
Okay,
I
that's
got it.
all, dude. I own 4,000 CDs.
Okay.
Like that's my collection, right? Okay,
Jeez.
there's box sets over here. That you know what that's 2 things. Number 1, that's an illness. Okay,
That's okay. I
and
was going
number
to say that.
2,
I'm glad you said it.
number 2, that's a dude that believes in physical media. I don't want fucking
Yeah.
streaming. I never stream. I'll do something on YouTube to get a feel for something,
Right.
but I
Wait,
want
what the hell are we doing right now?
I want to. Well, yeah, I want to support the artist, man. I
Right.
want
You
to.
are. And you are. Thank you,
Yeah.
brother, for doing that. Thank
So
you.
real quick, what does Johnny do when he's not recording, writing, and touring? What fun things? You say you hit the gym a little. I saw the guns, so
Let's
right
go,
on,
baby.
right
So
on.
I love, here's my thing, bro. So life for me is balance. It's balance. I make sure I have as much equal time. My family's first. My kids, my wife. That's my life. That's first. Everything else is last.
Right.
And I try to find the balance between, trying to stay healthy, which is these days is not easy to
Hard
do.
to do.
It's hard to do. So I do a lot of gym shit. I do a lot of running. I love it. I even run on tour in foreign countries. I'm on the street, man. And
That's
if
probably
I
pretty
don't show
cool.
up
Yeah.
to a gig, I probably got hit by something. But I do that shit. I'm really into the outdoors, man. Anything outdoors. I'm like just bought a new bass boat. I love fishing. I don't keep anything. I put the shit back. But I just like, that's some of the diversion. I'm also a pilot. I don't know if you knew that, but
No, really?
yeah, I've been flying for how old's my daughter? 26 years.
Holy
I have my own
shit!
I'm I had a helicopter also in LA.
Wow.
And yeah, and so I'm into dogs. So I just sold the plane, but I used the plane primarily for rescuing dogs out of
Wow.
kill shelters. So I love doing a lot of charity stuff and giving back, but I much prefer flying dogs than flying humans. But I'd go to kill shelters and before they kill those dogs, I load them into my airplane and we fly missions, 5, 6 pilots, different airplanes and offloading. And so I'm a pilot and I love aviation, outdoors, fishing, hunting, all that kind of stuff.
What do you listen to that isn't Johnny Gioeli stuff, or do you not even have the ability to do that at all?
So, I bought this new truck, man, right? So like I had all the fancy race cars and all that bullshit, right? And now I'm like, man, you got to have a truck. That's all I want is a truck, man. I'm simple now. And I sold all my fancy shit because you don't need all that shit. You need to keep life simple, right? And my son goes, Dad, why don't you just like put this killer system in this truck? I'm like, why? I listened to it at on 3. Like I don't even turn the shit up. So to answer your question, I flip through radio. I don't even have XM anymore. Like I
Oh
don't.
shit!
No, I don't. And like Nina Blackwood is my dear friend from MTV.
Oh yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Yeah, and and so I don't really listen to bro. I go between. Okay, you ready? I go between listening to some country for the art, for listening for songwriting,
Right.
jazz, pop, rap, R&B. I
Little bit of
never
everything.
did that before, bro. I'm listening to friggin' Ozzy. I'm listening to Dio. That's it. I never had
Yeah.
a record collection ever.
Even when
I
you
don't,
were not, you didn't have
never.
time. Probably didn't have time, I guess, right?
No, I didn't want to be influenced, man. I was a weird kid.
Oh, Okay.
So, like, if I listened to, like, a lot of Do, and I bought everything, I may start, like, writing, like, I didn't wanna be
Makes
influenced. That's
sense.
the
That
only
makes
reason.
sense. Yeah.
So what the hell? So, yeah, I mean, that's my spare time shit, stuff like that, you know?
I got two more quick ones for you, and we'll get you out of here right around the hour and a half mark. I told you I'd have you for longer than you thought.
Yeah, it's alright, man. No, don't worry, I got all
This has
night.
been a great interview for me. It's
Thank
been
you, brother. Me too, and the
killer,
listeners
man.
are sound asleep, but that's okay.
No, we've had anywhere from
It's
12,
all good,
and I
it's all good.
guarantee this will get some good views.
Don't worry, I'm not about that, man. I'm just happy to talk to you who supports us. I always say this, I say this, like, to nauseam on every show. Honestly, bro, and I mean this, ultimate compliment. I don't care what I've done, how many albums I've made, the money, whatever, the songs, writing, the voicing, the this, that, and the other that you've been so kind to talk about. But really, man, without you, I'm nothing. I'm
Well,
fucking,
you're not doing this as a career. You're working
I'm,
in a factory.
I'm nothing. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing. So I recognize where the support comes from. So
I
thank
had
you.
a thought that I wanted to add to that when you started saying that, you're watching the grass grow and all that stuff. And I get that, dude, because you've been doing this since you were fucking in 8th grade or 7th grade.
Yeah, brutal.
But let me just throw something at you. And I know, I got a personal situation. It's really not good. And what I wanted to say is that you got a gift. Your wife is right. Your family's right. Your friends are right. You got a gift that makes people happy. And it's a strong thing, man, and don't ever take that for granted, and I don't think you do, because you could wake up one day like I did in the last 2 years and find out that I don't have a lot of time, and it's like, my kids are your kids' age, and it's like, and this thing has taken so much out of me. I've lost pretty much everything over the last 7 years because I've probably done about $3 million worth of medical testing, and
Oh,
unfortunately, because of what I have is so rare, only a handful of doctors even know how to treat it. So I have to go out to the Cleveland Clinic in next month because there's two clinics in the U.S. Mayo, you've heard of
yeah,
Mayo,
Mayo
right?
Clinic, sure.
Mayo's like the
I know Cleveland Clinic too.
and Cleveland's huge too, and they have a huge dysautonomia place. I have autonomic neuropathy, it's called, and it's basically it's a fucking bummer. So we'll just leave it there. And the only reason I bring it up is because don't stop.
Okay.
Don't stop. Because you're giving people like me, and even though I don't own every album and know every song, but you're giving a lot of people something to get them through each day, right? And that's a heavy burden, but you know what they say, with great power comes great responsibility, right? And so I think you need obviously, you said family first, and everyone understands that, and that no one begrudges that. But I think you have a responsibility to these people to an extent.
I
You
agree.
don't have to give them what they want. You have to give them what comes from in here, right?
Totally, yeah. That's
And that's what
exactly.
you've always done. And so just keep doing it, dude. Just keep doing
Thank
it.
you, brother. I will. I have, like I always say, so this is like my mantra. Um, it's all about the people, number one. And uh until the until I don't sound like me,
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep
Understood.
I'm gonna keep going. I have no why would I stop making people
Understood.
happy? But that's it. Like, there's some, I don't want to bring up names, but like,
I will. I'll bring one up.
okay, so Bon Jovi.
Bon
So
Jovi's struggling like a motherfucker. But here's the thing, though,
he's
Johnny.
struggling.
But here's the thing about that, though. And you know this better than anybody. That guy going out there, he employs 50, 60, 70, 100 people.
Exactly.
And he knows that his responsibility is to try to do what he can to give those families those paychecks and shit. So I give him a lot of credit for that, even though he
Me
sounds
too.
terrible.
And you know, when it's not always about the exact performance, it's
Oh,
about the
yeah.
epicness and the history. And you're looking at that going like, wow, that's Bon Jovi. And you're right. The fact that he's trying is
But
fantastic.
it's rough. It's
But it's
rough.
rough. And I feel bad.
I feel bad for him too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
he
feel bad there, but
he's not the only one. You probably know Don Dokken, I'm assuming, right?
yes, and
And Don's,
sure,
takes a lot of shit online, and I get it. I've even slung a little bit of that. I'm like, man, dude, really? But
Uh,
by the same token, he's trying to keep John. Well, John's a lawyer, but he's trying to keep Chris and Tishy and those guys employed, and even though they can do other things, but he's still going out, and there are still people showing up. But George Lynch, man, that motherfucker, man, is he knows. Don was smart. He's like, I'm gonna bring George in for a couple songs. That'll drag some of the people in. He's not dumb now. We'll get over our little feud that we were having. But you're right. There's some of those guys. Like, dude, my favorite band is Rush. Will always be my favorite band forever. And Geddy was not the same Geddy the last couple of years, but he gracefully went into it, and instead of doing something like today, the real high the river, he would come down with it. He figured out a way to work around it, and I still went because I love that guy.
Of course, yeah, and that's part of the reason. For me, though, I think I would personally have a hard time if I couldn't get to the note or whatever, because I'm just so. Listen, I will tell you that I can't tell you how many thousands and thousands of shows I've played. I still count down the hours in my hotel room. I'm like 6 hours. 5 hours, 4 hours.
You get anxiety? Do you get stage not stage fright? Did you ever? Because you never seem to be that guy ever.
No, it's not that. It's that.
It's just the excitement.
It's the excitement. It's the worry, because I want to make the people so happy, and I want to perform really well. Right. I don't want anyone to ever say, "Oh God, Johnny,
he phoned it in." Yeah, he phoned it in.
It's that important to me that I please people at shows that I literally start counting down. Like, I lose sleep and shit.
I mean, you know how it is, man. When you're playing guitar, if you're the guitar player and you're sick, you can usually somehow manage to get through, unless you got, the shits or something really bad or something really terrible where you're just, Listen. But I mean, but for you and guys like you, your instrument is right here.
Oh, bro. Can't change that string.
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember I played a funny story. So I played Wembley I was on tour with Extreme. It was Hardline and Extreme. Played Wembley, sold out 2 nights, incredible. And it's a funny story, and I'll get into the sick part. Remember the sick part? And my wife was with me, girlfriend at the time, and she hits me. She goes, "Look at that guy over there. He thinks he's Roger Daltrey." And I said, "Honey, that is Roger Daltrey." I mean, we had so much fun back in those days, but I was sick as shit, and I would throw up side stage in a bucket. My poor tech. And then run back out like nothing happened, no one see, and do the show, do the song, and then run and throw up. I had the flu.
That's no fun.
That's no fun. Yeah. My brother had a cat practically carry me back to my hotel. I was so sick, but you do what you got to do, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I just don't want to be the guy who can't sing anymore. That's when you have to just find that balance of like, am I being fair and honest to the audience, or am I just I'm not performing, I can't take their money? You know what I mean? It's kind of that balance you got to look at.
In other words, you don't want to phone it in. That's just not fair to anyone.
Not fair.
You're not that guy.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. So
okay, so last thing, man, because I've really monopolized your time today, but
it's okay. My dinner's getting cold. No, it's cool.
Any big standout live moments for you on the stage and on record? What do you think are your, to this point, to Johnny Gioeli's life, what are the 1 or 2 big moments that you're just like, I can't fucking believe this? I imagine everything is like that for you in a weird way.
Well, I don't take. I remember talking to Alex Van Halen, and we were at Palace Auburn Hills, and I was like 50,000 seats. I said, "Alex, does this look big to you?" And he was like, "No, just looks like another gig."
Yeah.
And I walked away. I said, "Okay." I walked away saying, I'm never going to think that way.
Yeah.
I want to walk into a place and go, I can't believe I'm here. Yeah. So to answer your question, every show, whether it's a shed, a large venue, a club, or a huge festival or a large arena, every show I walk in going, I can't believe I'm here. Still. But standout moments, Wembley, there's no question. Brian May, Roger Daltrey. come on, man. And then I flew with
Legends.
his wife.
Legends, man.
Legends, yeah. Hanging out backstage with Slash in Berlin on a having a picnic on a blanket. Like, I mean, I've got stories, man. It's just that we
Was this when he was sober or when he was still drinking?
No, he was okay.
Okay.
They were all okay. Don't believe everything you hear.
So is there one guy you met that you were like, and don't say all of them, just is there one guy you met in your travels in your career so far that you're like, holy fuck?
Yeah, BB King.
Really?
Yeah.
That was not what I was expecting.
I know it wasn't. Because
Yeah.
I met all the other guys. They're just like you and me.
They are. They are. We
just
are
like you and
just
me.
human beings.
I used to have like Gilby Clark when he was in Guns N' Roses would call me and say, Johnny, can you help us? I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, we're losing millions of dollars in merchandise and we don't know how it's sneaking through the door. Can you help us? Because they knew that we were like this album right here was like one of Guns N' Roses' favorite on their private jet. They'd listen to Hardline Double Eclipse. And so they were like fans and they knew that my brother and I did the business of the band. Like my brother and I, we signed every check, man. We want to know who bought that case, who did this. That's our money. You know what I mean? You got to watch this shit. And where was I going with that? See what happened?
You said Gilby Clark called to find out where all the money was going. He needed your help.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, famous guys, right? But they're just like you and I. They were obviously more successful, but
you ever meet Grohl? You ever met Grohl?
No.
Okay.
I'd love to. Would love to meet Dave.
Seems like a fucking cool dude. He takes a lot of shit, but I think he's
a
great songwriter. Dude. And man,
down to earth. Nah,
dude, that tribute to Taylor, man. Whoa,
oh, insane.
That hit me in the feels. I was pretty teary-eyed over that one, man.
Me too. So BB King, bro. BB King. Can you believe that?
That was a surprise.
Yeah, because I don't know, it was just a thing. We were doing the Grammy Awards, and I was like, I don't know, BB King.
Do you have one vote?
Oh, okay, wait, one more.
Okay. All right.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
in London.
Yeah, that's a big one.
He is big.
Yeah.
No, he's also big.
Oh, he's a tall dude.
I almost walked into his chest.
Well, I'm trying to remember, man. You're what, about 5'9"? You're not super tall, yeah.
No, my brother is. I'm shrinking a little, but I'm 6 feet.
Oh, you're 6 foot?
Yeah, my brother's smaller. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were that tall.
Yeah, no,
you're not gonna remember this. You're not gonna remember this one.
In high school, they called me Munchkin, bro. I was small.
I thought you were my size in high school.
No, penis grew, everything grew. Thank God.
I don't want to know about that, man. So.
Everything grew. Thank you.
You're full of shit now, I know. But anyway, here's another funny one too. That's why, like, I'm not gonna let you live it down that you don't know me. You were out at we were at Park City one day. Remember Park City Mall?
Yes.
You're walking down, and do you remember? I think it was in the Wat and Chan Mall. There was a
Wat and Chan.
That was when Wat and Chan was still there, dude. This is 80s. This is 87.
Some Gimbals shit, man.
But you would come back from LA. You were back in Lancaster. You were already out there, and you would come back. I saw you walking. Yeah, I saw that hair. I'm like, that's got to be fucking a Gioeli. That's one of the two, because you guys had that jet black. Yeah, it shined blue in the right light. You know, it had that blue black vibe to it. Yeah. And I yelled to you, and you're like, hey, what's up? Now, you knew me then. You don't know me now, but you knew me then. But we went and had lunch at that Penn Supreme. Do you remember there was a Penn Supreme there?
Yes.
It was like a little a bar thing where you would sit in at the bars like the old time ice cream factories. We just hung out. We talked about you being out in LA and shit like that.
Making me feel horrible.
And you probably
gotta send me a younger. You got to just send me a younger. But you know what? Linny says to me, "Hey, you remember such and such from school?" I'm like, "No." You know what? I think it's PTSD, bro. I'm serious. I'm serious. It's almost like that was, dude. I'd cry in high school when I came home. It was such a bad part of my life.
But did you hang out with any guy from high school where you went running around? See, I didn't remember you doing that.
No.
You were either doing a music thing or you were Lenny. That was kind of it.
That was it, bro. I was a hermit. Yeah. I was a hermit. I'm telling you, bro, it probably is like a PTSD thing. It was such a bad period in my life. It was just not a match for me. I struggled. I had girls doing my homework.
Oh yeah.
I rehearsed every night, man, with the
Yeah, yeah,
band.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
have time for homework. I
Oh,
found a
you're too
girl who had
fucking
my
tired. Yeah,
handwriting.
too tired.
I wasn't there, bro. So that's forgive me, man. It's probably like I
Well,
tried to get rid of that whole time period.
here's the question I have for you. The final question, okay?
It's
So
the
it was
final
the
question. Sorry.
final question.
Okay, I'm
We
ready.
gotta sing together. You get a duet going
We
here.
gotta do a duet. We're gonna do solo. Solo, no one can hear us. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody will give a shit. So here's what I wrote out.
Okay.
Thanks, Johnny. Hopefully, there's an opportunity to speak to you again, bro. You'll remember me the next time, right?
You asshole.
You deserved it.
I deserved it. I will remember you the next time. Yes, for
Listen.
sure.
You got my number. I'll send it to you again. I
Thank you,
really want you to hear my daughter sing. Not because
I want to hear.
not because I want you to get her a record contract. Nothing. I just want you to hear her sing.
I can do that too. Let's check her out.
She's my little rock star. She's amazing, dude.
Fantastic.
Bro, I can't thank you enough. I hope that you enjoyed this interview.
I love this, man. You know what? I haven't done it. I'm going to tell you honest to God truth. I haven't done an interview where in all my years where someone could connect my entire past to the humble beginnings of
I was there. I had that advantage. I had that advantage of being there. Most guys don't. And but I've followed you, so you know that by what I did here. This wasn't just research. I've put some time in. I own some of the albums, not all of them. And I will tell you, dude, I'm gonna pick up Enemy Eyes on Real on the CD. Yeah. And Hardline gets a spin a year or two. What it'll do is I'll put it in the car because it's a great driving.
Yeah, it's a good driving record. Yeah.
Just
it's a windows down.
So many good, like even the ballads are great driving songs, right?
Yeah.
And so
I agree.
It'll be in there for a week or so, and I'll do 3 or 4 hits on it, and I'll be like, not hits, but you know what I'm saying. And I'll be like, man, this fucking dude, he's a beast, man.
Thank you, bro. All right, so I'm gonna sign this, and I'm gonna send you the new Enemy Eyes.
Well, thank you, sir.
Put the address on there. Don't you dare buy this stuff because I owe you. And
I'll get an address out to you. That's super killer.
And I'll priority mail the sucker over the express, whatever.
And if you feel like it, hit me back with a text. Trust me, I'm not gonna
you're
blow
all
your
good.
inbox up. I have 1 or 2 tracks I'd love for you to hear and just have you say, hey, she's got this going for her and she needs to work on that. Man.
I will give you my transparent, open book advice. And
say hi to Lenny for me. She won't remember me either, but she was always such a sweetheart. When you guys we'd walk from the DRC over to the cafeteria then, man.
God almighty, Jesus. Okay, listen, she doesn't remember either, bro. And it's
I know she does.
It's not that you're not memorable.
I got you.
It's just the time.
Yeah, here's the thing. If I'd gone on to be a big rock star, you'd been like, I know that dude.
No.
I knew that dude.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, you're a rock star now. You're a rock star now.
All right, brother. Listen,
take care,
thanks so much. Love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
You kick ass, and I will. I'll get you an address, and hopefully I'll have you back on when maybe you're getting ready to go out on tour. Reach out to me and say, hey, let's do it again. Let's talk. We'll make it a lot shorter next time. But
it's all good. Thanks for everybody listening out there, and we'll appreciate it, brother.
Push it
out there.
See you, man.
See you, brother. Take care, bro.
Johnny.
See you, bro. Bye, man.
Wow, that was fucking cool. Anybody that hung out with us the whole time, thank you for hanging out. Really killer, man. As I said, he may remember me when he sees my picture when I had much shorter hair. I looked a lot skinnier, and kind of more like a goober than I already do. But anybody watch this, thank you guys. Don't go away because in 35 minutes, I have my second interview, and that one's going to be a long one, too, with Kevin Huffnagel of Dysrhythmia, Gorguts, Sabbath Assembly, Vara, Veldoon, man. This guy's got some fucking amazing music that he's making that you need to know about, so come back, all right? We'll see ya.